My name is Vadney. I'm from Westerlo, as probably most of you know. I'll address the board shortly. I just want to address the assembly here very briefly. As I say, I'm from New Baltimore, which is in Greene County, but still is one of your neighbors. The sun that shines on Westerlo shines also on New Baltimore. We don't live in a vacuum. But one thing I do want to remark to all of you, and some of you have left already, but I want you to transmit it to your friends and neighbors. I'm really, really impressed by your show up at meetings and your contributions and having a voice in these public meetings. I'm really impressed because I see quite a few town meetings and even county meetings. And to be very honest with you, you ought to pride yourself in participation. This is true democracy and true participative democracy. Congratulations to you all. Well, that's my next subject. Now I'm going to address the board. In the past several months, I've had quite a bit of opportunity to observe this board, shall I say, in action. And quite frankly, in recent weeks, I've had the opportunity to have witnessed several events. One of them was your Diabolical June 28th special meeting. And quite frankly, when I left there, I was jaw-dropping shocked. I could not believe how that meeting was conducted. I could not believe how you, the town board, behaved vis-a-vis the people. Again, I must say I was shocked. I'm glad that the subject of the minutes was brought up this evening and the subject of the vote. I was shocked at how quickly you, the town attorney, Ms. Pecylack and Ms. Burnside, made a beeline for the door withothat even observing parliamentary procedure. When one of you made a motion for adjournment, another one seconded that motion, and all of a sudden you were gone. There was no vote. I know that because I observed that. Now you can go back to the live stream and you can verify that. That is totally wrong. Now, under normal circumstances, there would have been a vote to adjourn. But the fact that the quorum was killed by the departure of the chair and two board members, that was a de facto adjournment, but it was an improper manner of adjourning a public meeting. I'm astonished this evening to have observed the vote being taken to appoint an acting highway superintendent, and Mr. Dave Pecylack, I believe is the son of sitting board member Lorraine Pecylak. Whereas this vote may not have been unlawful, it made absolutely no attempt to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Now, true, if what you say is true, there was no pecuniary interest, but, that's stretching a little bit. That's a very, very, very broad interpretation. There is an interest in degree of kinship. By all sense of decency, Ms. Pecylack should have abstained from the vote, recused herself from the vote, in which case it would have been a tie vote, and ipso facto, it would have been a negative. This gives a very, very bad impression to the people when a sitting board member, an elected public official, does not have the decency to recuse herself from a vote that's going to benefit a first-degree family member. I rarely see stuff like this happening. My jaw drops. These good people here show up to participate in a democracy, and what we have going on here is clearly an oligarchy, not a democracy. It's a rule by the few. This is wrong. You people are elected public officers. You have taken an oath of office to support the Constitution. You have taken an oath of office to do it to the best of your ability. That is the phraseology in the oath. There is no phraseology in the oath, even implied, if it suits your purposes. This communications problem you apparently have here, again, I find it appalling that the supervisor, the town attorney, the supervisor's confidential administrative assistant attend a county planning board meeting, and then, when the question is raised, why wasn't anybody from the planning board, from the local Westerlo planning board involved? Oh, but they could have attended. Why weren't they invited? Where is the inter-office communications here advising your colleagues, your department heads, your committees of what's going on here? This was definitely overstepping. Your people from your local Westerlo planning board should have been contacted, invited, at least the chair, but you had other things on your agenda. You happen to have known that it was already fixed that that planning board was going to be thrown out, discarded, in short order. This has definitely got George McHugh's footprints all over it.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Mr. Supervisor,
It's gotta go.
somewhere, and this is going to be rehashing a little bit of old news too, you seem to have lost contact with the fact that you are there to listen to the voice of the people, not to a bunch of lackeys that were brought in from Queens to suggest to your people what should be done here in Westerlo. These people that you invited, I believe it was your personal invitation that brought Joe Cinque and Rob Nolan here. Two people who had just lost a case in Supreme Court for screwing up things on their own planning board, which was a combined planning board, at the behest and under the control of your town attorney, George McHugh. Yet these people were brought in here as experts on the benefits of a combined planning board, when the only thing they could represent is the criminality of a combined planning board and zoning board of appeals. And that's exactly what happened in Queens. Mr. Supervisor, you were quoted very recently in the Altamont Enterprise with some appalling statements. You made a statement like, it's there, whether or not the people want to hear it. What the hell does that mean? It's there, whether or not they want to hear it. Look, you're the one that listens. These are the people who speak.
Can you put in the context that it was stated in? Do you have before and after?
I've already contacted the Altamont Enterprise. I want all of the emails that were exchanged.
Right.
And I assure you I will get them, and I'll be back.
Right. But
Not only your state, excuse me, I have the floor. Okay, you can rebut when I'm done. That was on June 28th when you made those statements. Another comment by you, once again, my planning board has gone rogue.
Correct.
Well, my first impression is the planning board is not yours. Never was. Okay? Never was. That planning board served this community, not you, and not a single member of this board. That was an appointed board to serve this community. Secondly, for you to have used a term like rogue was very troubling, since the common understanding of the term rogue is something aberrant, dangerous, or uncontrollable, just like those dogs you've got running around. Okay? Oddly enough, that dog thing was really serving my purpose. Wasn't your board? And how dare you call that board, those public servants, rogue? That's wrong. I apologize. Well, you know, when a dog becomes a nuisance, as His Honor Justice Mackey might support me in this, when a dog becomes a nuisance, it's the owner's responsibility. And if it were true that the planning board was your planning board, then you had the responsibility for any rogue that was going on in that planning board. I apologize for the canine analogy, but it serves my purpose very well. Arrogant public statements are not only limited to you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Supervisor. Boardmember Burnside's statement that some of the public comments made at the public hearing on the 18th of June were flat-out exaggerations and even some lies. No, madam. No, madam, board member. We don't talk about our constituents like that. At least in most of the communities that I'm active. We don't call our constituents, our electors, our residents, liars. Very bad form. It's not only outrageously offensive, it's defamatory. It's totally unsubstantiated. Blanket assertions and disparagements are unacceptable and irresponsible. But you know well what irresponsibility is, isn't it? We vote our son into a fairly well-paid position, and we don't care about the appearance of impropriety. Well, such behavior is really inimical to democracy. It's inimical to open government. There's a traditional Oriental saying that goes like this: the fish rots, Mr. Supervisor, from the head down. There's another: if the shoe fits, wear it. And with all you have to do with Mr. McHugh, his lackeys from Queens, and all that they have to say, and all of their influence that they're trying to exert here in Westerlo, I'll close with yet another common saying, this time referring to the board's association with individuals from the town of Queens, including Mr. McHugh. I wish he were here to hear this. I really do. And you, Mr. Supervisor, your love affair with all that McHughian Queens has to offer. Mr. Supervisor, when you lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Thank you.